Well, it's Cricket Midweek time again, the show we bring you every week where we talk about the biggest news stories from across the world of cricket. Let's start the show. Well, Shahid Afridi, he's gone and said that the 2015 World Cup could very well be his last. He said it's going to be his last, but, well, you never quite know, do you? But then, Shahid Afridi, he's been a bit of a one-day cricket legend over the years, hasn't he? He led Pakistan in the last World Cup as well. And do you remember what happened the last time there was a World Cup in Australia and New Zealand? Pakistan went and won. That was, of course, Imran Khan's World Cup, Wasim Akram's World Cup, Inzamam ul Haq's World Cup. Who knows if Shahid Afridi would want to end his ODI career, if it does end, with a bit of a splash across in Australia and New Zealand. Let's talk about changes now, where across in the West Indies, Dwayne Bravo, Kieron Pollard, as well as Darren Sammy have all been dropped from the one-day international squad. It's really a big development, not only because they've been dropped, but for the reason why they've been dropped. And Jason Holder, only 21 ODIs old, has taken over as the new ODI captain, possibly even for the World Cup. Who really knows? But then the reason why it's happened is possibly an attempt on the part of the West Indies Cricket Board and the selectors to penalise players who were involved in the whole mess around the aborted tour of India. Michael Holding, writing in Wisden India, has said that it's an attempt by the WICB to cut off its nose to spite its face. He had very, very harsh words to say about the WICB, and really, it's not a situation any cricket team would have wanted so close to the World Cup, which starts on the 14th of February. Jason Holder to lead West Indies in that tournament. We don't know yet if those senior players who've been dropped are going to be a part of it at all or not. Well, another big change, of course, is Owen Morgan taking over as the new ODI captain for England, deposing Alastair Cook. Now, Alastair Cook really hasn't been doing well with the bat or as a leader, because England have had a terrible run in one-days for the last few months, and everybody really, well, not everybody, but most people, most critics were asking for Alastair Cook to be removed from that one-day international team. It's finally happened. But again, much like in the case of the West Indies, it's happened just before the World Cup, meaning that Owen Morgan really doesn't have too much time to settle into his job. He's, of course, led England before, but so close to the World Cup, who knows if this decision could perhaps have been taken somewhat earlier, given the team more time to settle down under its new captain. Well, that's not going to happen. But what's certain is that Owen Morgan will lead England into that World Cup, and Alastair Cook will not be a part of that team. Next up, two bits of news coming in from Zimbabwe. First of all, Stephen Mangongo sacked as the coach of the Zimbabwe national team. Well, this one, a lot of us possibly felt was really coming. It was only a matter of time before it happened. Most of the players had spoken out against him. Many sort of incidents taking place around the Zimbabwe team being blamed on Stephen Mangongo, and well, he's out. And the other news from Zimbabwe, of course, is that Malcolm Waller, the off-spinner, he's also obviously a middle-order batsman, the off-spinner becoming the latest to be suspended from bowling in international cricket. Well, he's another off-spinner, and he's been banned, again, very close to the World Cup. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on that front, whether he can make it back in time to be part of Zimbabwe's World Cup squad. Big news from India before wrapping things up, and news that would have made fans of the gentlemen who feature in that story rather upset, of course. Gautam Gambhir and Yuvraj Singh, the latest from that class of 2011, now out of the list of centrally contracted players of the BCCI. Zaheer Khan, Harbhajan Singh and Virendra Sehwag were already out, and that suggests, along with the fact that none of these five gentlemen are part of the 30 probables for the World Cup, whether they really, the five people really have a future in international cricket. It does seem that the BCCI sent out a pretty strong message that the future of Indian cricket will be carried out on the shoulders of the next generation of cricketers, and these five people maybe will not have a role to play in it. Well, it is holiday season after all, but then 3 big test matches starting on Boxing Day. We'll be keeping an eye on what goes on there, of course, as well as elsewhere in the world of cricket, and be back next week at the same time to bring you Cricket Midweek all over again. Thanks a lot for tuning in this time.